Degree or so. Pete says 25 today as, smack dab in the middle of all these 40-plus degree days. Old Man Winter is saying, hey, wait a minute, it's still winter, and this is just a reminder. 25, as we said, the predicted high today, but yeah, we're right back in the 40s tomorrow, and the week is really looking nice. Looks like all the way through the weekend we're going to see, for the most part, a lot of sun each day. And after today, temperatures generally in the 40s. Might be a day or two where it's upper 30s, but generally around the 40 mark with a lot of sun this week. Not too shabby for the first week of March, and certainly an improvement over the bitter cold and all the snow we dealt with over the past several weeks. All right, news is coming up here at 8:30. We'll get the latest from Fox first before we head over to John in the newsroom, and at that point, Pete will come in. James Prokopowicz will likely spend the rest of his life in prison. A jury over the weekend, Saturday, convicted him of killing his wife, Victoria, 8 years ago. She was never found. 7 sturgeon were harvested this season. According to the DNR, out of the 50 fish harvested yesterday, 2 were in excess of 100 pounds. Biggest one registered yesterday weighed in at 135.8 pounds. And according to the DNR, speared by Kevin Ward, overall the agency says there were a total of 77 harvested fish that weighed in at 100 pounds or more during the season. Those fish made up 4.2% of the total system-wide harvest. The DNR says that figure is similar to the percentage taken in each of the last 2 sturgeon spearing seasons, saying the fish had been leaner in general due to likely consuming more red worms than shad. And the DNR also says this year's harvest on Lake Winnebago, the highest since the 2015 season. Wildlife officials say the harvest was higher due to the clear water conditions around portions of the lake. So, yeah, it looks like C giving the green light to distribute Johnson & Johnson's coronavirus vaccine. And I believe we have a report in here. We do. Tanya J. Powers, who is very busy today, following several stories, tells us here the COVID vaccine, the Johnson & Johnson one, going to be shipping out today, and that'll add millions of new doses to the available supply. So here's the latest on that. Tanya J. Powers with all the details here.
The new doses will add nearly 4 million shots and are being delivered to the states in time for injections as soon as tomorrow. Johnson & Johnson said
nearly 5 million doses of this newly approved vaccine over the course of this next week, beginning today, the way it sounds. Meantime, the COVID stimulus bill passing the House late Friday night into early Saturday morning. And so it now goes before the Senate. House approving the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan, as they call it. The headline item in the bill, $1,400 direct payments to people with adjusted gross incomes of up to $75,000. That's the cutoff. Or $150,000 for married couples. Dependents, they say, also are eligible for those $1,400 payments, meaning a family of 4 could get $5,600. But it looks like the minimum wage hike, which was inserted into the House bill, may be abandoned in the Senate. That's one of the big questions right now, is how will they handle that aspect of the bill. And again, only 9%. We're told 9% of all the funding in this almost $2 trillion bill actually goes directly to COVID-related issues. And anyway, let's head out to Jared Halpern. He has a little more now as this bill does move on to the Senate.
The House-passed American Rescue Plan will be revised in the Senate. Notably, a provision raising a federal minimum wage was deemed out of order by the Senate parliamentarian. Democrats do not have the votes to set aside that ruling. The White House has not signaled a willingness to do so. That means if the Senate approves the $1.9 trillion COVID relief measure this week, it will need to be bounced back to the House.
Just kind of making a statement here was Arizona Republican Representative Paul Gosar. And this was over the weekend, early morning hours of Saturday. And I think this was before the House officially passed the bill. Gosar submitted, and it was indeed before they passed it, he submitted an amendment that slashed non-relief spending and offered $10,000 stimulus checks instead. Gosar, in a statement to Fox News Saturday, said, I offered an amendment to prioritize $10,000 stimulus checks to Americans most affected by COVID and by the lockdowns. He said instead Democrats chose foreign aid, big tech, transit, and Nancy Pelosi's political priorities over direct relief to American citizens. His amendment called for the removal of 10 agenda items out of his plan, including funding for the arts, federal and corporate transit projects.
Donald Trump still insists the election against him was rigged and hints he might run again in 2024.
Our movement of proud, hard-working, and you know what this is? The hardest working people, hard-working American patriots, is just getting started. And in the end, we will win. We will win.
The former president of the Conservative Political Action Conference in Orlando. Iran's government says no to a meeting with the Biden administration about its nuclear program.
The White House says it's disappointed. A spokesperson at Iran's foreign ministry says if the Biden administration wants to talk, it should lift sanctions first. President Biden says he's open to returning to the Iran nuclear agreement.
A chance of morning snow showers, partly sunny and a high near 25. Sunny and windy, 41 tomorrow. Pete Petoniak has details coming up. Number of people that have gotten both doses of the coronavirus vaccine in the state continues to grow as the Department of Health says that just under 500,000 people in the state have been fully vaccinated against the virus. There's another 900,000 people that have gotten one dose, and the new Johnson & Johnson coronavirus vaccine has one big advantage over those from Moderna and Pfizer.
Stephanie Schauer is Immunization Program Manager for Wisconsin Division of Public Health.
This vaccine is a one-dose series, so unlike the Pfizer and the Moderna vaccines, which are a two-dose series, this one would be one dose, and that would be sufficient and would provide the protection. So
The idea is not to exclude anyone, but rather allowing girls and women to enjoy the athletic success that they've worked so hard for. Congressman Ron Kind says he's still going to push for an increase in the federal minimum wage, even though there's changes to the COVID-19 bill that prevent that from happening now. He says it's going to fall on the federal government to raise the minimum wage because Republicans in the legislature in Wisconsin won't do it.
Our state legislature in Wisconsin has refused to take any action. Hope $7.25 an hour is an embarrassment for Wisconsinites, those working at jobs below the poverty level, because the minimum wage is at $7.25.
The Senate parliamentarian ruled last week that an increase in the federal minimum wage falls outside the budget process being used to pass that $1.7 trillion stimulus package. Going to be some talk at the Capitol this week about getting kids back in school. The Assembly Committee on Education has a public hearing scheduled for 4 different proposals that all deal with getting kids back to class. The Assembly has already offered schools with in-person classes more money this year. Republican lawmakers in Madison say it's time for all kids across the state to go back to school as usual.
A cool start to the week, and then we warm up again tomorrow. For today, chance of a morning snow shower. Otherwise, partly sunny, high 25. Tonight, mostly clear, low 15. Tomorrow, sunny and windy, warmer, high near 41. On Wednesday, mostly sunny, high 42. From Fox 11, your station for severe weather coverage, I'm meteorologist Pete Petoniak for 1330 and 101.5 WHBL.
All right, glad to have you with us. Monday morning rolls on here. It is just shy of 8:41. And temperatures still at 24 degrees. We've been around 23, 24 throughout the morning. And those wind chills are still stubbornly sticking in the low teens. We'll have 11, 12 degrees at the moment here. But if you missed Pete's forecast just minutes ago, we're going to warm back up tomorrow. Those 40s move back in. So just one little downturn in the temperatures today, and we're right back to where we've been for the last several days in the 40s. This week, aside from today, looking really, really good. Lots of sun and those 40-plus degree temperatures, as we said, moving back in tomorrow. Going to get your business news here in about 9 minutes. We had a mixed day on Wall Street on Friday, the last day of trading. The Dow took a major tumble, 400